What's the difference between mansplaining and just a man explaining something to a woman? Either A. Presumption of ignorance or incompetence on the woman's part, or B. Arrogance or superiority on the man's part. A woman has degrees and decades of experience in a field. A man explains something in that field to her because he saw a YouTube video. When it comes with condescending and infantilizing attitude, plus it's more of a talking over than talking with situation. I'm a woman. I have a motorcycle. I ride it perfectly. I can handle the twists. I meet a group of other bikers to go for a ride. Man leading needs to talk to me about the ride before we go. Man asks me nothing about my experience or comfort level on various road types. Man explains to be about how to ride and that it's okay to slow down if I'm nervous. This is mansplaining. Man assumed that I knew nothing and told me how to do it. Explaining something she already knows, but the man assumes she doesn't, only because she is a woman. Either it is common knowledge and the man is talking to her like an idiot who couldn't possibly know such an obvious thing, or it is specialized knowledge and the man does not trust or value the woman's expertise on the subject, even if she has extensive knowledge about it and he has little to none. So he insists on explaining something she is already knowledgeable about, as if she were a novice. Being condescending. I over-explain a lot to people and have been told I over-explain things. Not once has anyone ever told me I mansplain, or say I was rude. It's definitely about delivery. Explaining obvious things when we didn't ask for it. Like she picks out a pot and he asks what she's going to do. She says, boil water. He then proceeds to explain to her how to do it. Did she ask for an explanation? Does she know about the topic at hand? Is it common knowledge? Because if she didn't ask for your help, knows about the topic or is generally common knowledge, it's mansplaining. If she asked for your help, doesn't know the topic, or isn't common knowledge, then generally it's explaining. The most frustrating thing is when a dude tries to explain my job to me unsolicited, especially when I'm more than competent, and I've been doing it longer. Man explaining something to a woman is just sharing knowledge. Man explaining something to a woman on a topic she knows, but man explains anyway due to her being a woman. Mansplaining. Easy difference. One is explaining to be helpful. One is explaining because you're talking to a woman and clearly she needs the help since you're so much more knowledgeable than her. Upside down face. Classic example of mansplaining. I was in a group being given a guided tour of an observatory. At one point, a male member of the group tried to explain to the tour guide why she was wrong about the movement of the planets. The tour guide, who had introduced herself as tour guide with a PhD in astrophysics. Now, if tour group man had met tour guide in a social setting, and they'd ended up talking about planetary movements without him being aware of her background, that would be a man explaining something. But when you've already been told that the person is an expert in her field, and you feel the need to correct them, that is mansplaining. It's mansplaining if the man is only explaining it because he assumes she knows nothing about the topic since she's a woman. The key way to figure out if you're mansplaining is by asking yourself, would I be explaining this to her if she was a man? Quote, imagine you are a trained chef. I, as a woman, walk in on you getting ready to fry an egg. I proceed to explain to you how to use a stove, crack an egg, and the basics of cooking like you are 5. It's less about what you are explaining and more about someone assuming someone else is uneducated and offering help that was unsolicited. The assumption that she knows nothing about the subject, solely because she's a woman. I was waiting for the bathroom at my job BC. It was occupied. There is a little button that sticks out of the handle when it's occupied. I've been at that job for 3 years. A new male employee saw me waiting for the bathroom. His first instinct was to assume I didn't know how to check if the bathrooms were occupied and to explain to me how the door handles worked. I just started at him like, why do you think I don't know how the door works when I've been here for 3 years? Anyway, that's an example of mansplaining. When PPL do it, it's pretty clear that as a baseline they just assume they know more than you about everything, even when that's absurd. The originator of the term, though it didn't coin the term itself, was an essay in which the writer of the essay recounted an instance where someone told her about a book on a topic she was talking about and told her that she should read that book to educate herself on the matter, because it's a very important work on the topic. In fact, she had literally written that book, and the man hadn't even read the book. He had just heard about it. That's mansplaining. When a man simply assumes that a woman could not possibly have any deep knowledge on a topic by virtue of being a woman, and talks down to her as someone who clearly could learn a thing or two on the subject from the man, when in fact the woman may well be far more knowledgeable on the subject than the man is. It's not mansplaining if you have asked about her experience and confirmed that you are the more knowledgeable person about the topic, and b. she asked you to explain it, or you asked if it was okay to explain and she enthusiastically said yes. If both points aren't met, then the guy is displaying a superiority complex and it's mansplaining. My roommate told me the plugs in his room haven't been working for the past 2 months. I change his fuses. He proceeds to explain to me why it's working now. If you are explaining something because deep down having a woman know as much or more about something than you makes you insecure, it's mansplaining. Is the man explaining something she doesn't know and wants him to explain to her? Not mansplaining. Is the man explaining something she does know or doesn't want him to explain, especially if he assumes she doesn't because she is a woman? Mansplaining. My girlfriend and I are both photographers. If I try to explain to her the ins and outs that she already knows, it implies that I think that she, as a woman, doesn't know anything. Now if she saw something I was doing for my photos that she was curious about and I explained to her my process for getting to my final edit, then that's simply just explaining something. Simply put, a man explaining something because he assumes she doesn't know because she's a woman is mansplaining. While on the other side, it's just explaining something because they've made it clear they don't know and would like to. Well, actually,
if you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.